Our next speaker is Professor Mahesh Panchagnula. He is the Dean of Alumni and Corporate Relations at IIT Madras. His energy, entrepreneurial bent, and persuasive skills have melded together to build a robust alumni and corporate CSR connect with IIT Madras, raising a national record-breaking high funding to the tune of INR 300 plus crores. That is over $37 million. In just the last 3 years. Armed with a BTech from India's #1 institution, IIT Madras, and both an MS and a PhD from the world-renowned Purdue University, Dr. Mahesh is a professor at IIT Madras Department of Applied Mechanics. With an illustrious 20-plus year career of teaching and research, he has 59 publications and 2 patents to his credit. Professor Mahesh has undertaken innumerable global teaching and consulting assignments and is a seasoned, sought-after speaker addressing packed audiences like we have in this room today, on a wide range of topics, including alumni relations to applied mechanics, entrepreneurship to education, impact to innovation, to just name a few. A man of many hats, Professor Mahesh ideated and launched a pan-India science and technology magazine, IIT Madras Shastra, the first of its kind in the country, to feature the best of Indian science and tech. The magazine has been well received in India, receiving appreciation from the Vice President of India. Professor Mahesh has also pioneered the growth of IIT Madras Incubation Cell as the professor in charge and board member. His cell has now become the best tech incubator in the country with 220 plus startups. Some of his career highlights include working with the DRDO to design mission critical elements of Kaveri gas turbine engine, and also the creation of India's first model to understand the onset of stampedes in dense crowds. So, thank you Mahesh for visiting us, and please.
Extremely kind introduction. I don't know how much of it is thank you for bringing it all out. It's an absolute delight to come to Bay Area every time. As Shankar said, this is our largest chapter outside Chennai. I'll slice and dice the alumni numbers for you, because you are all part and inheritors of this extremely vibrant network of alumni. Today we have about 56,000 alumni in at least 83 countries of the world that I know of. Wow. Okay. I want to know how many other universities can even go this far. And that to go this far in just 64 years. Okay. This is the power of IIT Madras, that you are all part of this amazing network, truly global network. If you want to connect to somebody working on a petroleum company in Venezuela, go on LinkedIn, Venezuela, IIT Madras alumnus, send him an email. Your first 3 questions are which batch, which hostel, what do you do now, hey, this is my name. 4 questions, that's it. This is what I always find amazing, and I'm not exaggerating. I've actually found dozens and dozens of alumni who just start with exactly these 4 questions. Which hostel, which batch, where are you now? Can you do this for me? That's it. It's a very utilitarian network. It works for you. And the most important trait of this is that you can easily relate to anybody from the class of 1964 to the future class of 2024, which is going to come out in July 2024. So the power of this network is also exhibited by the fact that almost 1 in 20 have turned a founder or a co-founder, which is to have 5% of a large alumni base like this become value creators is also something that I'm not sure how many universities in the world can claim to be inheritors of. So, and the last point I want to make about this network is that the greatest concentration of this 56,000 happens to be in one pin code in India, which is 600036, which happens to be IIT Madras, but actually it's not, I didn't say it correctly. The greatest concentration happens to be 6000, I think 26, which is Velachery. Okay, and Chennai happens to have about 6,000 alumni. Chennai has about 6,000 IIT Madras alumni. And the next highest concentration after Chennai is Bay Area, with about 5,000 alumni. So when Naren says, we filled up this audience, I look at Naren and say, there's much more we can do. So next year, May 2024, I promise to be back, and I've done enough of this Student Community Center. Okay? We should be looking at, I imagine we should be doing this at Stanford Auditorium next time. Show Stanford the power of IIT alumni network. Shall we all promise ourselves, each of us, there are 5,000 people sitting right here. Each of us go pull up 15, 20 or 20 other friends, and we will show the real power of what IITM means, whatever, 8,000 kilometers or 15,000 kilometers away, in a campus that is known for technology. Let's do that next year. I want to take the next few minutes to talk about the various IITM name bearing organizations. You heard Shankar, you heard Kamal, Mana, Ma, you've heard all these things. I want to sort of pass all of this for you and the utility of each of those. Okay? Broadly, you can imagine there are two classes of alumni organizations. There is, of course, IIT Madras, which is of use to everybody. It is supposed to be of use to the world at large. We'll leave that out for now. We'll come to that later. Broadly, alumni-facing organizations fall into two classes. There are organizations for alumni helping alumni. Okay, and there are organizations where alumni come to help IIT Madras. Okay. So, IIT Mana, which is the IIT Madras Alumni Association of North America, and IIT Ma, which is IIT Madras Alumni Association, which is like the parent alumni association of the global alumni base, are both organizations with chapters in many cities of the world, for where alumni come together to help each other. That's the primary reason these organizations exist. For you to network, for you to have more frequent events, so you can benefit from the presence of the other 4,999 alumni of IIT Madras around you. That's one class of organizations. There is another class of organizations which are there for alumni to help IIT Madras, the parent alma mater institution. And that starts with the IIT Madras Foundation in the US. The foundation is a 501c3 approved organization. It provides tax benefits to anybody that donates for causes, and it also brings together groups of people to not just contribute time and talent, treasure, but also time and talent. If you want to come volunteer at IIT Madras, teach at IIT Madras, you want to come offer some specialized body of knowledge to our students, the foundation can enable those pathways for you. just because, and these tax benefit, offering tax benefits is obviously going to be country specific. So we have the IIT Madras Foundation in the United States. We have the Canadian Friends of IIT Madras in Canada. So if we have donors in Canada, they can approach the Canadian Friends of IIT Madras to make their donation and avail of tax benefits. We have a similar organization in Singapore. We have just started and it's going to get a tax benefit status in Germany, which is called 4-star IITM Alumni DE. The purpose of European friends for them to make contributions to help IIT Madras. So, and we are in the process of looking at other geographies where we have significant alumni presence, where such benefits would be useful to them. So, along this way, while creating this ecosystem of organizations, the main motivation is to bring alumni out of the woodwork and have them contribute to one of these two. Come out, help other alumni, be part of MANA, be part of MA. Come out and help IIT Madras, be part of foundation and other organizations like this. That is the main sort of request that I have come with, that we have all come with. Please come out, be of help to your brothers and sisters who have graduated out of this institution, and as well as support your parent alma mater. I want to take the next few minutes to talk about where IIT is today and where we are headed. IIT today is an institution with about 11,500 students. About 1,200 is the incoming class at the undergraduate level, and another 1,200 enter the graduate programs, the masters and PhD programs. Roughly, that many graduate every year now, as you would imagine. We have 16 hostels, 6 or maybe 7 girls hostels, where there used to be one Sarayu, there is now 6, different names obviously, but 6 girls hostels. We are at, how many Sarayu girls are here? Wonderful, wonderful, glad to see you. We have about 30% women students on campus across all of the. See, the reason I say this, look, I'm going to be, the reason I make this point is each and every one of you has at least one more alma mater. Go find out what this status at that other alma mater. Compare in your own heads, use it where appropriate. You will see a difference. The overall growth story of IIT Madras over the last decade, at least a decade or so that I have, front and center been part of, has truly been amazing. Whether you look at infrastructure growth, you just come every 5 years, you will see some significant new addition to the campus infrastructure. Every 5 years come and you will see a significantly different program that has taken root. I'll give you examples of all of these before I end my day today. Before you come and see, there will be a significant research initiative that didn't exist, that has not just been initiated but gone global, become globally relevant in many ways. If you look at our teaching programs, we were primarily undergraduate teaching for many years, but those of you that are undergrad alumni probably didn't notice that in every convocation since 1967, we've actually graduated more postgraduates than undergraduates. This usually comes as a surprise to people, but the fact is that we've always been a postgraduate institution. That was part of the design by this gentleman named Nalini Ranjan Sarkar. How many of you know his name? He is the man that wrote the report and presented to the government of India a blueprint for how an IIT should be built.
Is that the same as the Sarkar Commission? That
yes.
Oh.
So the Nalini, so those of you that value your IIT education should now go back and read Nalini Ranjan Sarkar's report, because you are who you are partly because of that man. Then you come to the research. Today, IIT Madras' research footprint is truly vibrant. You have to, I cannot stand here and explain to you even in an hour as to what vibrancy really means. I invite all of you to come experience it. You are all technically competent in your own fields. Come find out for yourself what's happening in your own domain of expertise at IIT Madras. So I don't want to really go much into the research part because I simply cannot do justice to it here. On the programs, on the undergraduate and graduate teaching programs, about 3 years ago, we made a significant commitment, in principle commitment, that IIT quality education shall not be confined only to the students entering the gates of IIT Madras on the Sardar Patel Road in India, but it shall reach every deserving student sitting anywhere in the world. Thanks to the power of online medium, we have already by then grown this platform called NPTEL, National Program on Technology-Enabled Learning. NPTEL is in my mind one of the world's best kept secrets. It is the world's largest science and engineering learning repository. Did anybody here know it? Have anybody taken an NPTEL course? Wonderful. My humble request to all of you I'm sure are lifelong learners. Go take a course on NPTEL and experience for yourself the quality of learning that you get for an extremely affordable price. You know what that price is? Free! It really means a lot to the world at large that all of IIT faculty, thanks to IIT Madras leadership, were brought under one umbrella to teach courses in their own areas of expertise. So quality education is now available free of cost to the complete world. I have taught a course on liquid atomization and spray systems. It's like a core course, practically it has to be a core course, but for some reason it is not yet a core course. But I get emails from students in Romania and France saying, I took your course, thank you very much, I enjoyed it, but here is a question, can you answer? I do my part to answer. It is, as a teacher, nothing can be more gratifying than that to get an email like that. I can assure you of that. So this success of the NPTEL program allowed us to conceive and create a completely online degree program. It's a 4-year degree program called Bachelor of Science in Programming and Data Science. In the first cohort 3 years ago, 13,000 students enrolled in it in 1 year. Since then, at least 8,000 to 9,000 students have been enrolled in this program every year. To put that number in perspective, you have to go back to the first number I gave you. IIT Madras as a campus is home to 11,500 students. And we today have another 30,000 learners learning from IIT Madras faculty and working towards getting an IIT Madras degree online. 3 times. That power of leveraging online platforms to make quality learning accessible to everybody in the world is a commitment we've made, and I believe we will follow through in the next 5 years. We will have many more such programs. We have already launched a second program. We will have many more such programs in the pipeline. Undergraduate teaching programs, on that topic, I want to add just one more thought. Is there anybody here from the class of 1964? That's our first graduating class. Or anybody in the 60s, 65, 67? You remember the German faculty members? Were German faculty members also? There were 30 faculty members from Germany who came stay in IIT Madras to build the institution as we know today. These people shed cold hammer to come live in 13 degrees north of the equator. I don't know how many of you would be willing to do that, but imagine somebody that grew up in Hamburg to come live in that 13 degrees north is not a joke. Okay? Okay. The beer in their house was probably a novelty for all students at that time. But the idea that they chose to come stay here at no cost from the government of India, they did not take a penny. The government of Germany paid them to come do this here. They designed every building that you learned, that you had classes in. They recruited the first 50 faculty members. Remember, the first 50 made sure the DNA of the institution is preserved because they will recruit the next 50 and on and on and on. So the DNA of the institution, as you know today, is thanks to that founding professor group of 30 people that came and built this institution. And we have to, along with Narendra Ranjan Sarkar, we have to be grateful to that group of 30 people who created this institution the way we know it today. That we have quality faculty members, we have quality students coming in, all the processes you see, the highly industry-facing nature of the institution, these are all inheritances from German thinking. Having benefited from that line of thinking, we thought 60 years later, it is time we repaid that favor. And the government of Tanzania came to us and said, can you start an IIT Madras campus? And they offered up a piece of land on this beautiful tropical paradise called Zanzibar. Okay? So they said, can you come set up an IIT Madras campus in Zanzibar and educate students from the Eastern African nation, from the Eastern African nations. And the MOU was signed in the presence of the External Affairs Minister 4 days ago. The first class will be admitted in August. And we will have faculty members traveling from IIT Madras station. I think, if I am not mistaken, Zanzibar is at 20 degrees south latitude. 13 degrees north, 20 degrees south is not as far as stretch as going from 56 degrees north to 13 degrees north. But the point is that this is another sort of axis for not just IIT Madras' growth, but for India's growth. And I must say that this audacious thinking that India can now go global, set up campuses everywhere in the world, offer quality education for those local communities, comes from our diaspora being present everywhere in the world. If IIT Madras alumni are present in 83 countries of the world, Indian diaspora is present globally. So that is the strength that from where we draw the courage to set up these campuses in these remote places and still feel confident that we will be able to offer quality education. As it turns out, when I said we were going to set this campus up, one of our alumni connected us to an IIT Bombay alumnus who has lived decades in Zanzibar and Tanzania. This man knew practically anybody and everybody in Tanzania, and he knew exactly how to navigate the system. What more of an asset can you ask for? So that's the power of this network. And each of you, if you have not pinged the alumni network for your own benefit, you have not completely taken advantage of the degree that you've been granted. Remember that. Ping the alumni network so you benefit. If you benefit from the alumni network, remember IIT Madras benefits in the long run. Don't worry about that. Okay. I want to close with one last thought. The needs of IIT Madras are truly expansive today. There are many different axes on which we need help. The reason I say we need help is because it's still a very well-funded institution, one of the highest funded institutions in India, mostly from government support and research projects from government agencies. But they go to sort of make sure that our needs are taken care of. But as a growing institution, we have aspirations. We have reasons to grow, to become more globally relevant. Those aspirations require non-governmental funding. And one of those aspirations is that we would like to see every financially disadvantaged student that finds their way into IIT Madras to not drop out or not be stressed because of their financial position, their parents' financial position, which is even worse. Okay? For us to go completely need blind in our admissions process. Well, we admit need blind, but the students are hit with the bills after they are admitted, which is actually in some sense worse than what a Brown or a Duke does when they ask the parents for their financial status and admit only if they are able to pay the tuition. At least that is one step better maybe. We admit just purely based on merit and other criteria without taking their financial status into account, and they are suddenly sort of, and after obtaining admission, they are now hit with the tuition bill, the mess bill, all of it. We would like to create an alumni-funded endowment which would completely offset all of this financial duress on the students' parents. The total cost of this endowment for us to advertise upfront that every student coming into IIT Madras would be given a scholarship that that person deserves. The endowment required to make that claim openly is about $30 million. If we will write to you separately about the mechanisms that we want to use to raise this money, but please bear this in mind. It is a very deserving cause, because if we are able to succeed in doing this, which we are quite confident of by even next admissions cycle, we will be the first institution in India to have made this claim. And IIT Madras, being number one, has to show in ways other than saying I have highly cited papers, I have excellent research, and this and that. This is our alumni way of showing we are number one. By setting the bar at a point where every other IIT now looks up to us to say, I want to be like them. Why aren't you like them? Their alma mater should hear from their alumni as to how they can be like IIT Madras. When I was at Purdue, there was a famous tagline from the Chicago Bulls that said, I want to be like Mike. I used to love it, and we should be of that stature, that other IITs and other Indian institutions should step up to the plate, thanks to the example that all of you in this room would have set, that they would want to be like IIT Madras one day. Thank you all. We are all happy to take any questions. Kamal, Shankar, Kavi, myself, and we're happy to help. Yeah.
I'll just speak up. About the funding that we just spoke about, can you tell us a little bit about what that 30 million will actually cover? Is there a projection of need ratio, like ratio of students, just to give us a sense of how much it will help and what the estimate is?
Sure. I want to be full disclosure here. I didn't plan that question.
Hopefully it's a good question.
No, it's too good to be true. I'm sure that other people smile. This guy stop, but so I'll give you a little bit of detail. The tuition fee that every student pays is about 2 lakhs. The mess bill plus room and board together is another 1 lakh roughly. Okay, so to yield 3 lakhs of interest or return, the endowment has to be at the level of about 60 lakhs or about $75,000 for ease of calculation. $75,000 endowment will ensure one student can study on a fully funded scholarship for 4 years. We see about 400 students come in every year with parental income less than 8 lakhs. Okay, just to put that number in perspective. 8 lakhs of pre-tax income, and they have to pay 3 lakhs for one kid's education. Okay? 40% of your pre-tax income going to one kid's education. I don't know if anybody in this room or many of you in this room can afford it. If 40% was the fee going to one kid's education. So we clearly see the distress. And so 400 in every year, 4 years, 1600 students, 1600 into 75 1,000 per student. That's sort of the rough calculation. That will make sure that every student who comes in with parental income below 8 lakhs would find a scholarship. We would figure out a model where only the need sort of is factored into the quantum of scholarship. That's a detail you can always handle, but that's the rough math.
I'll also maybe just add one point to that. So, couple of our alumni in New York has actually come forward to anchor this at the beginning onwards. So, Mahesh Society is a partner with Goldman there, and Chandu Vishweshwarya. Both of them have been working with us, shaping up the vision for this month, and both of them have also committed. So, we are, as Mahesh mentioned, we are certainly looking forward to start off with at least some 15-20 alumni who can come together with a commitment of say 500K to 1.5 million, and then we will have the initial corpus to get started. Of course, at various contributions at different levels are possible, and there is a structure that we have put in place. Happy to discuss all of that later. So Mahesh Society and Chandu, both of them are also offered to have conversations with anybody who is interested to kind of discuss it further, to discuss the vision and all of that.
Okay. Yes.
You're always extremely articulate. So it's a pleasure to always listen to you. So we can also ask slightly tougher questions because they're thoughtful. So I want to switch gears from the foundation. Sorry, I want to switch
I can hear. I'm the only person that matters. Answer.
We want to make sure everybody can hear the question.
I should start with always.
So just get to the question. Let's get to the questions.
Batch 1976 LC. Okay. So my question is the following. I want to just switch from the giving part to building corporate research strength at IIT Madras. The reason I refer to this is, this area has a lot of technology, and if you look at computer science and AI, the Bosch Center funding is winding down. And it seems to be a very integrative piece and a crucial piece to this connect to the valley. And I also noticed that of the top 100 ranks or 500 ranks, many people go to IIT Bombay in computer science. So I'm trying to figure out what they say about the top 166 or something goes straight to IIT Bombay because of computer science, right? So in some sense, Bombay has an industrial presence, entrepreneurship, a bunch of things. And Fadak was very entrepreneurial, recruiting a lot of faculty. So I'm trying to figure out what is it that you can do with Silicon Valley or folks here to build this, because Madras has less of industry, it has industry but not compared to Bangalore or Bombay or something. So what are you thinking about? One, again, the philanthropy of course must continue. But in addition, what are you thinking along corporate engagement to enable this or any other modalities, and what are you doing? That's one great company.
Okay, Ram, thank you for the question. Now, some of the answers to these questions will mean work for all of you. Are you okay with that? Of course. I heard a smile but not a yes. Does a smile mean a yes, or yes also means a smile? Are you okay with some work?
Tell us the work first.
Okay. That's not okay. So, we now talk about faculty recruitment. Okay? This is a very, very important point for us. Any institution is only as good as the assistant professors that are on our roles. Be very clear about it. I am too old now to shape IIT Madras's future. I have my role to play, but the assistant professors really are the future of IIT Madras. We are on a mission to recruit the best people that the world has to offer in every discipline, to encourage and work with them for them to come to IIT Madras. Okay, so specifically in the valley, as you said, data science, AI, there's a lot of activity in this space. And I want you to help me in one respect. Please look at the colleges in this valley, Berkeley, Stanford, I'm sure there are other good universities. And wherever you have contacts, please look at Indian students, typically Indian students, but they could be other nationalities as well, because we also have a plan to recruit foreign origin faculty at IIT Madras. We have a fairly aggressive program there as well. But we want you to work, we want you to talk to students in this area about IIT Madras of today. Maybe have a coffee with them and ask them to look at IIT Madras, encourage them to look at IIT Madras. Maybe after you've had that coffee, please write to us and we can follow up and see what we can do to recruit them. As far as corporate relations are concerned, we do work with over 400 companies, including several of the companies that are based in the valley at IIT Madras. All of your top IT companies have some presence at IIT Madras, some research presence already at IIT Madras. The one point on which I think there is still room for growth there is to make these connects more meaningful. At the moment, it is more of a grant coming from, say, Google to set up a center for responsible AI. And faculty there do their work on the center. I'm sure Google has some way of working with them. But think of a deeper relationship. So I'm sure many of you are leaders in your own companies. If you can think of how that company can work with IIT Madras in a more meaningful way by which both the company and IIT Madras can stand to benefit, we would be very happy to structure such relationships. Please write to me. My email is mvp@iitm.ac.in. It's on. You can find me online. Please write to me, and I'm happy to work with you to structure these relationships.
So is the point that he made true that the Robert Bosch Center funding is coming down?
The Bosch funded this for 5 years to create a center. They already bring in 2 times that through projects outside. So funding has come down is a fact, but activity has not come down. Activity has doubled is also a fact.
So maybe I'll just give you some examples also. So for example, on this industry institute collaborations, we have had emphasis at the setup at quantum computing center in IITM with about 3 million plus support. And similarly, for example, Kotak Bank in India has set up an energy assessment center. Numerous such examples, the Robert Bosch Center that I spoke about. So all of this is very possible. Some of them are through grants and R&D collaboration also. So one that we usually see from our alumni in various corporates is that many of you will be working in the head offices here and all of that. So you may know some of the senior leaders in India that any kind of course from IT itself we do like to reach out to them and all of that. But any kind of more interaction to some of the senior folks will always help us get to the right people and make a case based on the merit of the project per se. So that is something that we certainly leverage our alumni network to kind of reach to the top of the various topics across the globe.
Surya.
One of the areas that I am interested in is vehicular technologies, particularly. I used to drive a show and I kind of noticed in the campus that bikes have been banned in the recent times. And like you said, like one part is like, of course, like most students are also poor, like they lack.
Not most, 1/3.
1/3, yeah. So everybody can't be just writing software for Google or whatever it be. And I think there is a need for vehicles. And there is traffic condition as well. So there are. Is there any focus on maybe opening a center for regular driving or regular technologies, like essentially with the focus on solving some of the transportation problems? And we have a huge problem with transportation, and Google tried its best with self-driving cars, and they're not going anywhere, honestly, trust me. So it needs a different approach, so I think it's a multidisciplinary problem. So I think Poly IIT needs to be beyond just software or AI, and into more solving some of the problems that we all face, including in the Bay Area.
Sure. So we have several dozens of faculty members who work in transportation technology broadly. Right? And there is a center of excellence on battery engineering and electric vehicles. There is a center on the future of transportation. There is a center on marine transport, which is not probably what you had in mind, but as you know, the world's greatest transport ecosystem is in the marine space. Right? So we do have centers of excellence in all of these Surya, I'm happy to, you can go online and find this, or write to me, I can connect you with it.
Mahesh.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's give a nice big round of applause to Mahesh.